Please welcome AboDraiaa, CEO, Rology. Gitanjali Rao, UNICEF Youth Advocate, Young Innovator, and Founder, Vervient Foundation. And moderator, Michele Malejki, Global Head of Social Impact, HP.
Amazing. Well, we are here for a short but very sweet panel today, and we're very excited to just dive right into it. So with that, I'd love to just start already with you, Amar, if I can. You have an amazing amount of work going on at Rology, providing telemedicine services and thinking about x-rays, other radiology and solutions. And so I wonder if you could just start by telling us, what does that look like in practice? And what is the role of AI, especially following that amazing presentation, in your work and making it work?
Yeah, thank you, Gina, for the invitation. Thank you, Solve, also for the opportunity. And great applause for all solvers here. So we, in Rology, we solve the problem of the severe shortage and the misutilization of radiologists. So can you imagine in Africa in general, there is only one radiologist for every 2 million citizens, which is create a huge gap for diagnostic services overall. So we build a zero setup cost platform, which is literally affordable and available for every single hospital, wherever this hospital is, to integrate the radiology machines with our platform and to have the final diagnostic report in something like 30 minutes without any kind of infrastructure or integrations or something like this.
Amazing. And I mean, that statistic is so powerful in terms of the number of people that need to be reached and that now can be, thanks to what you're working on. Can you also just elaborate a little about what brought you into this work?
Yeah, actually, during my last startup, I have been in the health tech since 2006. And then I used to do hospital information system and medical electronic record and so on and so forth. So we figured out that diagnostics in general is a cornerstone for every single hospital. And there is a huge problem when it comes to diagnostic, when it comes to lab tests and radiology and so on and so forth. So we start to figure out how we can solve such a problem for all of the radiology departments in general.
Amazing, thank you. And Gitanjali, who I've learned is a Time Kid of the Year a few years ago, and I'm so excited. My team won Social Impact Team of the Year, so we had some commonalities there. But let's talk about the 10,000 different things that you are doing. And among many projects, you've actually recently established Kindly.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about that and how did that come out?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Usually on that side of the stage, so this is really exciting for me. But again, an honor to be here amongst both of you as well, like such inspiring people with such incredible missions. I think first and foremost, it's very important to address this huge issue of digital cyberbullying, mainly because it can take so many different forms in today's day and age. And a lot of times it happens without any real reason, which makes it even scarier. Recognizing that problem, and also on top of that, facing a lot of those challenges very early on, I would say in my childhood, but I'm in fact 18. But facing those challenges, I think a big thing that I recognized is there needed to be some sort of solution, and we need to build upon existing solutions to be able to address this widespread issue of cyberbullying, especially when you're hiding behind a screen. So my whole concept was I wanted to develop a tool called Kindly, which started out as a prototype, but is now a UNICEF digital public good, which I'm very, very excited about, as an anti-cyberbullying solution, and it's the first one using artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning, which is a very broad term as well, but even more specifically, natural language processing and understanding. And the goal is it's built on this self-learning algorithm. So it's always updated on the latest slangs, trends, memes, emojis, everything that's out there today. And the really, really cool part about it is that on the Kindly landing page, anyone can go in and contribute their own words and phrases in response to prompts to train the engine. And I think today we have about 700 inputs through UNICEF, outside of UNICEF as well. And a cool thing about Kindly, and I think my favorite part about it, is it's built as an API, which means it can be invoked onto a variety of different front ends. Today it's available on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and G Suite, Discord, Slack, and in the next couple of years will be on other social media that we know and love, TikTok. But,
Amazing.
but yeah, that's a little bit about Kindly.
Amazing. And so this is a call to action as well for those in the room, those
Yes,
watching,
please
right?
do.
To engage with Kindly, go in and leave comments, as you're saying. We're going to double that number that you just shared
Yes,
after
go
this
leave
this
me in
convening.
comments. Go leave me in comments and train the algorithm.
Amazing. And so back to you, Ahmad, if I can. Your organization, Rology, started in Egypt. You've now scaled not only to Kenya, but as we were just talking, a whole host of other countries as well. And so I want to know, it's a jump, obviously, on so many different levels. Can you talk a little bit about what has that meant in terms of how have you needed to adjust your data, thinking about the different ways maybe you've practiced or reached with new groups? Can you talk us through that, please?
Yeah, actually, thank you for this question. We started in Egypt because this is the most market we know, and we have been based there, and so on and so forth. But once we reached a good level of maturity from a technology perspective, from an operation perspective, and also from medical operation perspective also as well, we start to think we need to go global even. So we need to start from somewhere. So it was extremely obvious for us that the whole idea has been started from the problem. So it was very obvious to us that we need to follow where is the pain is the most. So we started to build like an Excel sheet, including literally every single country around the globe, and starting to analyze the pain from this country perspective. So it reached up that we have top 20 countries when it comes to there is where is the pain is the most. So then we started to see to rank them on another perspective, which is the accessibility from us as a team and where, our skill set and all of this stuff, which is, and also where we can do the business better and all of this stuff. And then based on this ranking, we choose to jump into Kenya. And so we built our second office in Nairobi, Kenya, and right now we serve more than 70 hospitals in Kenya, either public and private, starting from Kisii County up to Eldoret, Nairobi also as well, so on and so forth. So the one statement for this, which is we are following where is the business the most.
Amazing. And can you just name a few of the other countries? We were talking about them, but just so folks can understand how much you are growing your work at Rology. Where else are you working or looking to scale to?
Yeah, we have an operation in 9 countries nowadays. Egypt, Kenya is our biggest. We have also Saudi Arabia, Zambia, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Libya, Iraq, and Kenya. And we just started like 3 weeks ago in Ghana also as well.
Amazing. And so speaking of scaling, messaging, you have a global following, Gitanjali, of 85,000 young people,
Yeah.
I have learned. And I wanted to know, from your perspective, and particularly as you're a student here as well at MIT, how do you see young people engaging with technology and really innovating with it as well in different ways?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to address that I'm very, very fortunate enough to have so many students who have worked with me and are genuinely interested in the work that I do. But also, like, the biggest thing that I've learned from every single one of them is everyone has this zeal to learn and a passion to change the world. I've never met someone who says they don't want to change the world. But more importantly, every student that I work with is incredibly different, right? I run innovation workshops through my new foundation that I just established called the Vervian Foundation, which I'm very excited about. Comes from the word verve, which means spirit, energetic, excitement, a lot of which I claim myself to be. But more importantly, I think the real goal behind it was to look at how we're going to establish innovation as a very regular part of early education and curriculum. And I could sit here and do another 20-minute panel about why the current education system needs to go because it took us years and years and a global pandemic to even consider going online. And I think one big issue, we talked a lot about AI yesterday in this panel as well. I think a little bit of what we need to do is walk before we run. If we look at the state of the world right now, there's this huge disparity amongst people who have access to technology and those who don't. And what we need to focus on is providing internet access, educational resources to those students who have ideas, new, unique perspectives, but don't know where to start and haven't met their potential yet. And that's a little bit about what I'm doing and what I'm trying to kind of get across as well. And so in addition to these workshops, I've had the opportunity to fundraise to start maker spaces in third world countries as well as schools in places in Africa. Some of those countries that you named, some of my favorites are in the Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. And I think another big thing to mention is, again, I was talking about this earlier, but people think and learn very, very differently. A girl that I'm working with in Afghanistan innovates and thinks very, very differently than a little boy in a refugee camp, right? And I think it's important to kind of address and scale solutions and scale like this whole concept of building new ideas, building new solutions, building new creative ways to teach people amongst this entire range of people. And so that's a little bit about why I focus on this common idea of innovation rather than sticking it to technology, right? Focus on this idea of how do we build solutions? How do you come up with cool ideas? Not necessarily always how do we look at the craziest technology that's out there. Because I think, again, we should walk before we run, and I'm kind of excited to see where these students go, because at the end of the day, I hope so many other students from so many other countries end up on this stage just like me, with an equal passion to learn, equal passion to come up with ideas, and probably even better solutions and ways to change the world than I do.
Amazing. Zeal for learning is the buzzword from this for sure. And so I know we're almost out of time. So last question for each of you, please.
Yes.
And I'll start with you, Amir. What would your advice be to people who are interested in impact-focused technology and innovation?
Okay. So the first thing, to build an impact-driven organization, it doesn't mean to have an impact investment. So you don't need to focus on impact investment, but rather than that, you need to focus on building an impact-driven organization. And I really believe, as an entrepreneur and founder and all of this stuff, that day-to-day operation is the key thing for which can drive your venture and your organization into forward in whatever scenario you want. So to have the impact criteria, the impact directions, cascading until the day-to-day KPIs, I think this is one of the very important secret sauce we need to have. So as an example, we have in rology even when it comes to the sales team even. So usually, for sure, we are in for-profit. So we need to generate revenue for sure. And we have this kind of annual targets, quarterly targets, and so on and so forth, even for the sales team. And this is automatically, it's money, so we need to generate revenue and money and so on. But when it comes to the KPIs for the sales team, we make it over revenue, and also in the same time, how many lives you saved during this month, as an example. So as a salesperson, you will keep track the two things, which is I'm generating revenue, I'm keeping this target, and this is the main KPI, and I have another KPI, which is how many lives I contributed and I helped to save overall. So you can take this kind of impact, which is the impact mandate of the organization, and the cascading up to the day-to-day KPIs into the operation for your team, sales, technology, medical quality, and all of this stuff.
Great. We're at time, but I'm going to still ask you the question quickly. What's your...
And I will answer very quickly.
Thank you.
I think I see the clock, the big red clock. I think the big thing for me when it comes to impact, I think the best solutions start on this concept of empathy. I think we always need to start with the user first. And I think more importantly, like the work that you're doing, it focuses on the user, it focuses on the people, and I think that's really where we need to start. One of the biggest questions I get is, you probably would have made so much money if you already built a startup for the thousands and thousands of ideas that I've come up with. And I think a big part of why I didn't is because, one, I don't want to be locked down to any specific idea. This is time to take risks, time to learn, time to grow, time to fail forward, more importantly. And I think secondly, too, I don't want to lose that sense of impact. Once money is thrown into it, that's a very real possibility, is you lose that sense of impact. And I love the people that I work with. I love being on the front lines, and I think that's what makes me so excited to do what I do, and hopefully that kind of carries around. So I'm excited to see and kind of watch people impact the world in their own ways. Yeah.
Amazing. How about it for our panelists? Thank you both.